Hello and welcome back, my stylish friends. Today we're learning design number 6, and thank you for joining me to learn this granny square design. We are changing color here the way that we want to have little wave, and you can incorporate this in your blanket any way you possibly can. I will be using two different color. I'm using white and Oxford gray from Lion Brands, Pound of Love, and I will be using 7mm hook. I will start with the yarn I want the design to be. So in my case now, I want to start with the white color yarn. So the background will be gray. You start as usual, and if you need instruction how to make our 2024 one color blanket square, there is a video on my channel. We are doing this granny square a little bit differently, especially when we are connecting yarn in the end of the rounds or rows, because we are switching the direction for moment. So I would say that we're working with rows, but you can call it we're working in rounds, and that's fine. So we start with the color yarn that you want the design to be visible, and you are making almost one cluster. You need to change color right away. So the second double crochet stitch, you will finish with the new color yarn, just like that. And then we chain 2 because that will be our corner, and I'm keeping both yarns under my work so it's hidden, and I will make one cluster. And again, I need to change color, so the third double crochet stitch I will not finish completely. I will finish this stitch with the new color yarn, and we will chain 2 to make this corner, and we will repeat this process again with the white color yarn. So we're making cluster again, and we are not finished the third stitch until we change the yarn color. Just like that again, and then we can repeat this process. We need one more cluster in different color yarn, so I'm using gray. And once I do that, I will still change my yarn color and make 2 chains for the corner and finish this round or row with the white color yarn. We're using slip stitch, and that's the round or row number 1. We have 4 different color corners, and now what we will do, we can actually connect the tail of the beginning, where was the slip knot, with the tail of the new color yarn. And you can just, make a knot. You don't even need to hide these ends. They won't be visible, and you have nice 2 color yarn secure. Now we have to carry this gray color yarn all the way to the top, and I do that by keeping my yarn in between the first stitch, which will be my slip stitch. Now I turn my work and go under my chain space as I will normally do, and I will chain 3. I will turn my work again and begin row number 2. I start with one cluster of my design color, which will be color white. I need to change my color right now because the background I want it to be gray. So now I'm going to the next corner, and in this case I will keep my non-working yarn in between the stitches. I'm making stitches around this white yarn, but I'm making corner with 2 clusters of 3 double crochet and chain 2 in between them. So let's make another cluster, and then we will move to the next corner. 3, we're moving to the next corner, and half of this corner will be gray and half will be white. So I'm changing my color to finish my second cluster in color white. So you repeat this process all the way around, making sure that you have 2 corners with 2 color yarn and 2 corners with only 1 color yarn that you chose for your background. And you always should keep your non-working yarn closer to the projects and working your stitches around that yarn. Let's speed up a little bit and I will show you how to end this round or row number 2. Now we are finishing the last cluster, and I need color gray because I need to have this cluster in 2 colors. I will change my yarn color right now before my chain 2, and I will make chain 2 with white color yarn. Now slip stitch, and this round or row is connect. Now we have to carry again our gray yarn, and we have to be sure that will be not visible on the right side. So in this case, I actually leave this yarn alone, and once I finish my first cluster, I will pull that yarn to the left. That way it will be behind my white cluster from previous row and will be less visible. I will speed up the video now again because there is no color changes in this next corner. We're making our cluster as we normally do with 1 color yarn. Now it's the time to shift our design. So in this cluster here, we will finish the 3rd stitch with different color yarn. We want this design to shift to the right, just like that. Now we will go to the corner and we will make 2 clusters of the same color yarn. So we have 1 cluster, chain 2, and our second cluster. By doing that, we shifted our white design to the right. Now again, we have to remember to change color for the background. And also remember, when working, the non-color yarn should be the closest to the project as possible, and you will be making stitches around that yarn, keeping that yarn secure. Okay, so now we are finishing this corner, and then we have to remember, when we get to this side, we want to shift our design the same way. So in our next cluster, we will do 2 double crochet stitches, and 3rd one we will finish with white color yarn, just like that. Now we can finish our last cluster in this white corner and be done with round row number 3. Now you have to remember that when we switch our design, we will no longer making white clusters on the originally selected sides. So you have to think how you will bring that white color yarn to the opposite side, And also you will be working only gray color yarn from now on, with the exception of one cluster. So what I do, I will change my yarn color right now before I make my chain 2, and then I will do slip stitch with the new color yarn. That works better for me. So I will start my last round, and you see this yarn I can just carry as usual behind the white. Okay, so I start the regular way, chain 3, and I turn my work and I will do my cluster. At that point, I will be working my gray color yarn all the way to my design. So what I will do, I will just carry my yarn the closest to project as possible and working my stitches around that white yarn, keeping that yarn secure in between stitches. So let's speed up again, because I believe you are very familiar with this part of the project, and it's easy, repetitive pattern, so it's easy to remember which cluster we have to place in what space. And now I will slow down a little bit again, because we will be changing yarn color. So I'm making one cluster of gray, and I need to change color to white because my next cluster should be white. I'm moving my design to the right. Once I do this cluster, this is my last cluster with white color yarn on this side, but I do have to carry that yarn all the way to the other side, to the opposite side of my design. So again, I will just work with my gray color yarn, keeping the white color yarn very close to the project and working stitches around this non-working white color yarn. And you know, when we are almost done with the project, this is the time that I want to say thank you for crocheting with me today and spending that time with me. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you found this pattern, this design interesting, and you can incorporate with your projects. Let me know if you make blanket or scarf or sweater. All right, time to change our yarn color again, and we are changing to color white. And this is our last white color cluster. And then we have to make one more in color gray, and the round or row is done. We are almost done. Now what we have to do is to hide all the ends. And with this project, hiding ends is not difficult at all. There is nothing special about hiding these ends, so use your regular method. And again, if you need detailed instruction how to hide ends, there are so many videos on my channel how to hide the ends. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done. Look at this beautiful design. You can move your squares any possible way you would like to and make different designs. You can use the same color design for the whole project, and of course the design will look different. And you can play with this, incorporate any different designs that we already learned in January, February, and the first one in March. And I hope I will see you next time in April to learn how to make additional designs to our 2024 blanket. Have a great day and see you next time.